Hello, everybody. Um, I thought I would talk through number 3 on your topic 9 review. Um, one more time. Maybe we did it in class today. Maybe we didn't do it in class today, depending on what class you have with me. But let's just run through how to find the vertex, focus, and directrix of this parabola, and then graphing the parabola. We'll just graph a sketch. So first of all, I do want to change this problem. Instead of y minus 4, I'm going to make it a negative y minus 4. Now, on your review that you guys do online, your numbers will be different, but I'm hoping you can follow my process with your particular problem and work your way through what we're doing. Okay, so we have to write the equation of this parabola so that we can answer the questions. Because we have this x squared term and this 2x term, we are going to complete the square to get this into what we call vertex form. When you have to complete the square, you look at your equation and figure out which variable is being squared. Because the x is the variable being squared, you want to get all your x terms on the same side and any other terms to the other side of your equal sign. So this actually is already set up, ready for us to complete the square. So completing the square, we're going to write down our x squared plus 2x plus, we're going to put a number right there. I'll just carry it on the rest of the equation, equals negative y minus 4. Our goal is to create a trinomial that we can factor. If we do two things to this b value, it's the same steps every time, we will create what we call a perfect square trinomial, and we'll be able to factor that. So we take that b value, which is 2, and we divide it by 2. So this number may be different on your problem, but we always divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then what we do with this 1 is we have to square it. 1 squared is equal to 1. So we are going to add a 1 into our equation. Just keep in mind, sometimes when you do your b divided by 2, if your b value is negative, you're going to have a negative number right here. But when you square a negative number, a negative times a negative is positive. So I know that's why I pre-planned for the plus. I knew this was going to be a positive number I'm putting in here. All right, so we just added 1 to the left side of our equation. To keep the equation balanced, we have to add 1 to the other side. All right, so now let's take a look at this. X squared plus 2x plus 1. We can factor this. There are factors of 1, our c value, that add up to positive 2, our b value. And those factors are 1 and 1. Typically, when you guys factor, you'll say, oh, our factors are 1 and 1. So it's x plus 1 times x plus 1. When you complete the square, when you do this b over 2, get that value and square it, if that's the number you're adding in as your c value, the factor you're looking for will always be the same factor twice, 2 of them. We're not going to write it as x plus 1 times x plus 1. We're just going to simplify that and say, oh, that's the same thing as an x plus 1 squared. Equals, we have our negative y, and then negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. All right, some of you guys have a positive y right here. Some of you have a negative y. If you have a positive y, then you just have to get the y alone. You're ready to just add 3 to both sides. If you have a negative y, I just want to show you something that you can do. We're going to solve for y because our parabola equations start out with x equals or y equals. But I want to get this y over to the other side of the equation. So I'm just going to add the y. So I have a positive y over here. Now this whole thing right here, I want that on this side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract an x plus 1 squared from both sides. So what the final equation will look like, I'm actually going to move that down a little bit, is we have a positive y equal to, now it's a negative x plus 1 squared. and then that -3 just stays. All right. So we have a y equals equation. So that tells me that this parabola is vertical. This particular equation has a negative in front of our parentheses. That tells me that our parabola is going to open down versus opening up. Some of you guys might have nothing right here. That means you have a positive value, like a +1. So your parabola will open up. So we have a vertical parabola opening down. So that's where this one is heading. Now the vertex are found with these values right here. Whatever number or whatever variable you have inside your parentheses, this number right here is the x-coordinate of your vertex, and this number right here is the y-coordinate of your vertex. If you had a y inside your parentheses, then this would be the y-coordinate of the vertex, and this would be the x. Those two would just switch. But we do want to remember tricky x, anything, if it's inside the parentheses, that one's going to be tricky. So this parabola has a vertex at -1 and -3. All right, so find the vertex. We just did that. Okay, so this, what I'm writing on is not letting me extend my page, so I'm going to erase if I can. There we go, some of the stuff we've done, just so I have more space. But we have our vertex. And I'm actually going to keep our equation right here. So let's envision what that looks like. You know, if we were to sketch a graph, we have a vertex at -1, -3. I'm going to label that with a V. We already said that this parabola is opening down, so now it's going to open down like this. The other things we need are the focus and the directrix. So the focus and the directrix, to find those, we need to figure out what our C value is. So we have to find the C value. Now, the equation for a parabola on your formula sheet, if you look at it, in front of your parentheses right here is a fraction, 1/4C. So whatever number you have in front of your parentheses will equal this 1/4C. If you don't have a number there, then that's just a +1. In this case, I have a negative, so I know that that -1 has to equal that 1/4C. Again, the 1/4C right here is right in your formula sheet, right in front of the parentheses for our vertex form for a parabola. Now I'm going to solve for C. If I just make this a fraction, I can cross multiply. Remember when we cross multiply, the reason we do that is to get out of these fractions. If you have a fraction equal to a fraction, multiply, these are called cross products. So -1 times 4C is -4C. We set that equal to the other cross product. 1 times 1 is 1. Now we just want to solve for C. Divide by -4, and our C value is a -1/4 or a -0.25. I believe your online program will let you use decimals. So let's just work with the 0.25. That's a little bit easier. It makes sense that I'm getting a negative C value. A negative C value lines up with this parabola opening down. So what is that C value? Your C value is how far away the focus is from the vertex. So I'm going to go down, and the reason I'm going down is because it's -0.25 units. And here's where I'm going to find the focus. So what's the ordered pair for that focus? Do you notice I still would go to the left 1, but now instead of going down 3, I have to go down even further, 0.25 further. So our focus is going to have the ordered pair. Again, I still had to go to the left 1, so it keeps that same -1. But now I'm going down 1, 2, 3, and another 0.25. So that is a -3.25. All right, we got our vertex, we got our focus. directrix. So remember your parabolas have the vertex centered between your focus and your directrix. So if my focus was 0.25 units, in this case, because I'm opening down 0.25 units below, that means the directrix must be 0.25 units above. Also, I am not drawing this to scale, but I want to envision directrix is going to be an equation of a line. My line is crossing the y-axis, so it's going to be y equals for the directrix. And then I just have to figure out, all right, so I'm going down, I'm not going down 3, that's too far. I'm going down 0.25 units shy of that. So what that's going to be is a negative 2.75. And that is the directrix. Now, it says graph the parabola. Well, I did a sketch right here. I think that's good enough. But that's how you guys will solve a problem like this. You have to complete the square to get your equation to look like this. You identify the vertex. Once you have the vertex, we have to figure out our C value so that we know how far either above or below if it's a vertical parabola, or how far to the right or to the left if it's a horizontal parabola, that focus and directrix is. All right, I hope that helped out. That's how you would solve a problem like number 3.